your character and the way you conducted yourself, just naturally, a hoe became housewifey around you more than most housewifeys already are that are housewifed up. What if? What if you had the right character, the behavior, the responses to life that triggered? Why is this not connected? Stoplight. It should be. Hold on. Hold on. This should be streaming. Why is it not? YouTube Studio. Okay. All right, it's working now, it looks like. I just got notified that it's live. Oh, never mind. I'm on the wrong channel anyway. Okay, so what if you had the behavior, the right behavior, the set of responses? Maybe it's not even you have a response necessarily. It's just your organic, your spontaneous, and your natural, without thinking about it, response. I forgot what I was talking about, actually. So, it's right there. Anyway, so last night we go on these 2 dates with AZD with 2 new girls. So it triggers the housewife response in a woman. So she's selling her body. She's a dancer. She's a stripper. She's a hoe. She dresses like this or that. She normally acts like this or that around men, the men that she's maybe tried to date in the past, or just guys that are friends or whatever. But when she's around you and the way you are, she wifeys up. She's more proper. She conducts herself more elegant. She carries herself more elegant. She, in moderation, in her language. And what if it was effortless? That just your being? Because even if she acted out of sorts, like not in the right way that you would want her, your response to that brought her back. You didn't have to do anything. It was your natural being. That's what I see in AZD. When he takes these women out, he's getting very difficult to get women. You think it's easy, maybe because I say a Vegas dancer. Oh, you try. Show me a realistic success story of somebody who got a Vegas dancer. And then tell me about how he got multiple. And then tell me about how he had multiple relationships at home or whatever, because they live by themselves or whatever. Had other relationships while he was getting new girls. And it was orderly. So it didn't just blow up. It was like it continued for many years. And the women got better, more beautiful, taught other women. You know, you saw their relationships developed as he reported on it or posted about it, or naturally, you know, he calls his girls in class sometimes. So his girls will be talking with you. You hear the dynamic. And you could say, well, he's fooling or they're fooling or whatever. I don't really hear too many people say that anymore. But they used to. Or I used to hear it at least. Maybe there are haters out there that still talk like that. I don't know. I've been around for 9 to 10 years, something like that. And I've seen his main girl around the whole, and his second girl been around the whole time. And I've seen them develop and him develop with them. And it's like, you know, I saw a girl come in and out of the picture. I saw another girl come in and be around for 7 years and 5 years. And, you know, it's as real as it is. I've even been to lunch or dinner with some of them with AZD. Like, I don't interact with them, but I'm there. It's like, I've been at lectures where he brought them, you know? I don't know how real you'd want it to be. Like, do you want to interact with his girls to see if they're real or not? Like, it's real, bro. And then as you live the life and you bring like the life he lays out, like he teaches his lifestyle, his schedule, his conversations, how he organizes his life. And I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, just applying that, you know, when you start to develop relationships with a certain level of trust and admiration and transparency and this and that, then you see what it takes to go through it. Right? So I go on these dates. He takes one girl to a restaurant and we go with him. Some of us are in the vehicle, some take another vehicle. We come back, drop her off, I think where she lives or something. And then, you know, and then it's this whole thing. Like, because these are fine women that have a lot of options and have had a lot of options. So simple things like, how do you walk the girl into the car? How do you get her from out of the car to the car? How do you take her from the car to the venue or from the car to her front door? At the highest levels, you'd be like, well, you know, if I'm boxing and it's a jab, once I learn a jab, I don't need to go and study a jab. You know, you could probably learn something of a jab from Floyd Mayweather, even if you're a good boxer. Even if you're a great boxer, I'll bet you can learn something of a jab from Mike Tyson. And most people, they think they may know a jab, and they're really bad. The most of the population would be really bad at jabs. They maybe can extend their arm and like throw a fist or something, but maybe their wrist is off or their step is off. They lack power, like, their elbow is out or something and it's weak. You know what I mean? You can learn to be better at that thing. And not everybody needs to be able to fight. It's a good idea to activate your energy as a man, of course, and for a woman, your self-confidence, for a guy, self-confidence too. But not everybody needs to fight, but everybody's mating, except for the monk, and some of them are real, and most of them are suppressing this sexual urge, and it's going to leak out in weird ways, and they become very weird. Most, like, I don't know percent, but like by far most, 99%, something like that. So some of them are righteous. I don't want to knock that. That's dope. Okay. So the simple things, how to bring the girl in on a date with your friends. If you are not dating women with your friends, then what are you doing? Are you just going to go on a date with the girl with the plan of, I'm going to keep dating this girl until I marry her and isolate myself from my friends? Because that's the pattern you're creating. And you're like, well, the romance, there's some things that should be said in private. Bro, you can have a private conversation when you're out with your friends. But you can also have a friend conversation when you're out with your girl. Why do you separate the two? Most of the time, it's going to be because you just lack integration. So you're actually behaving a certain way with the girl that you don't want your friends to see. And you're behaving a certain way with your friends that you don't want your girl to see. So that lack of integration is weak. You're separated inside. That's lying. That's part of the transparency. As you become more transparent about your life, how you are with your friends, how you are with the girl. I mean, it's different. You talk different to her, but like your beingness. You should be proud when you're around with your friends. You should be proud of your friends. They should be proud that you're their friend. Just all kinds of pride. It's a pride, right? A lot of guys, they don't have friends. And if they do, they're not, man, they're just not into personal development. It's a sad state of affairs out on the planet. And you're not going to have any real friends outside of IMC Nation because IMC Nation is teaching the friend code. That's the friend code to relationships. Relationships with especially beautiful women, because beautiful women have the least friends. They're not real friends. The other women are trying to use them. The guys are trying to use them. Everybody's trying to use them. Everybody's trying to use everybody. So you could say that. But the beautiful woman everybody's really trying to use her. She doesn't have any real friends like that, especially as a guy. So if you're a guy and you're able to be, and what would a real friend be? First of all, you don't want to lose attractiveness. She needs to be attracted to you. So you got to trigger attraction. But if you want to trigger the seduction and the relationship that comes from seduction, the righteous seduction leads to relationship. Or it leads to a separation because, that was the righteous thing. But it's not because of, this toxic neediness, trauma bonding bullshit kind of thing. You discover something in yourself as you seduce the person. And the lines are known. The boundaries are known. It's like, you're not duping her into thinking that I'm going to have a relationship with you just to have sex with her. That's again lying. Like, would your friend, that's where AZD really kicks it up a level. Not only picking up and dating girls in front of us, as we have done with him, but less, he gets more dates. But bring the girl around in the group and now behave. Keep the girl seducing, make her more comfortable, trust this and that. But do your social interactions with the environment, with your group especially, because they can give you a feedback, a reflection of yourself, an acknowledgement of who you are to them, and that really strengthens if you do it. If you do it. And if you don't do it, then guys won't do it because they don't have quality friends that can do that, and they don't know what to do themselves. It's not something that we all were born. I don't know if we're born knowing how to do it. I think we're born knowing how to learn it. Social interactions. We're born knowing how to learn to be social, how to communicate. But if we never learn, then we never don't develop it ourselves. We don't know how to communicate. There's examples of that where they're called wolf children or whatever, where they weren't around people, didn't learn how to talk, and then they never learn how to talk. They can't even be taught because the brain doesn't learn after a certain age very well. not brand new stuff. You need the structure in there to learn new stuff. So you can learn a new language, but not if you never learned a first language. You have until like age 7, 8, or 9 or something. So we learned to communicate the way we did, and that's getting us certain results, whatever. That's what we're experiencing. So the tribe helps reflect back to us. And see, a lot of guys, they'll use the woman to reflect back. And there's truth to that. And that's what I was about to get to about AZD. But women, the agenda in their genetics, how they use men, is going to mold you into the character of her preference, but she's not very self-aware. So it'll mold you into a character she can control, which is her preference. It's hard to believe, but her preference is to control a man and use all his resources while she gets the baby from a stronger man and makes him take care of it. And if she can upgrade from this man to that man to take care of the baby, she will. And she'll use him and look always for a better man. She's hypergamous. She's always going to look for the better man. That is an element that we satisfy in IMC Nation, learning from AZD, how to always be out of her grasp, but still fulfill her. Because she needs both. She needs the provider and the seducer. And I'm not having kids. So if you don't have a baby, what are you providing for? Something. So she needs to build around something with you. Straight AZD teaching. Okay, guys, we'll go for 10 more minutes. So anyway, that was a good chance to plug. So AZD, daily classes are in the bio or the description. Check it out, $97 a month. It's about to go up, so maybe you can get in at 97 before it goes up to 147 next month. And that's a daily class with AZD, 10 a.m. Pacific. Mind-blowing stuff. If you just like anything that I'm saying, I mean, what do I know that I haven't learned from AZD? That's relevant to what I'm saying here. I know a bunch of stuff about stuff. I have a PhD, I have trainings and all kinds of things in life. But relative to this, what I'm not talking about anything except dating, male-female dynamics, some communication skills maybe, like the lifestyle here, I'm reporting on it. It's really relationships. That's where people get confined. That's where you'll have high and lows and oscillate and what do they call it? Roller coaster. That's where you're roller coaster in your emotions because you have people around you that talk to you in ways that you think less about yourself. You agree with them on some level. And guys, it's going to be so much women, almost 100% women. Maybe your dad, maybe a friend. But it has a lot to do. You'll take on the rejection of a brand new woman that you don't even know, and she doesn't want to talk to you, and you invalidate yourself, and you're suppressed by that. It was suppressive. But you got to learn to navigate that, and that's a lifelong journey, bro, because it goes to levels upon levels. That's handling the suppressive environment, which is the world, the globe is suppressive. The culture teaches people to suppress each other, negate each other, talk down to each other. Overcoming that is not just disregarding everybody and isolating yourself. That weakens the machinery. It weakens the immune system. You may not get sick, but you also won't evolve. You won't grow. And when you find yourself in a situation, you won't know how to handle it. You die. Your ego will contract the disease and die. So you need an immune system of behavior, how to handle whatever is said to you, how to handle whatever's done to you. Girl breaks up with you, cheats on you, sells her body, steals your car. What did she didn't do anything to you. She did things that you attached your ego to, that you then feel things. I've been wrong, I've been robbed, and she cheated on me. How does somebody cheat on somebody? You cheat on an agreement we had. You lied. You broke the agreement we had. That's the cheating. You broke our agreement. But that doesn't do anything to me unless I am somehow attached to that agreement. And that's what happens. You blend with somebody. That's even the friendship. You can be betrayed by a friend. There's agreements there. You're not going to talk bad about me behind my back or something. It's an unspoken agreement. Do friends ever talk about, dude, I'd never talk bad about you. Maybe it comes up sometimes, but then you hear that they say something bad about you behind your back. You feel so betrayed. You had an agreement, and your identity was attached to this agreement. So on one end, you get the red pill guys, the MGTOW guys, that they break all agreements. They're like, I'm the sovereign. And then they refuse to make any agreements, and they live isolated. The lover boys, they agree to everything, and then they got to lie because they either get totally wrapped up in one woman and then they stop being lover boys. They're just like become defeated, deflated fucking slugs. Or they lie because they're still lover boy players, but they haven't confronted the woman's manipulative control just this toxic control that women have over men using the culture. For example, women will use Instagram and they could post a pretty pic on Instagram, get tons of male attention, get date offers, get messages, get everything. If she has a private Instagram, she just has to make it public and then start posting her cleavage. And she'll fucking get all kinds of male followers. May not be quality. You know, they're not quality, but somebody may come along and be like, this bitch doesn't have a man. Got barely any followers, looks good. Let me DM her. It wouldn't take that long. You know what I mean? Why was I saying all that? Well, I forget where I was going. So we'll just go back to the topic at hand. I go on these 2 dates with AZD last night, and I'll just say that the freedom to communicate is so powerful. He's so powerful, dude. It's so out of the ordinary and yet totally acceptable, but kind of on the edge of being acceptable. It makes you a little uncomfortable, but it's also so edgy and artistic. It's on the edge of, it's edgy, man. And that's what he's going to break down tomorrow. We have an event where he's breaking down. I'm going to ask him all. That's what I'm writing down. I'm realizing some of the innovative elements or moments that I saw in his evening. And hold on really quick. I got to message somebody. I just had an inspiration. Tonight would just be a quick pickup and then drop me back off at home because I have to do some messaging and promo before I tap in. Okay. And we're back. All right. So these talking points, I'll be asking him about it. Like this other talking point I have, how to handle a girl taller than you. One of his dates, very fine girl from the biggest strip club, which is not easy to be at here in Las Vegas. And she's taller than him. And then she's taller than him without heels. With the fucking 5-inch heels that she's wearing, she's enormously tall. How do you handle going out with a beautiful woman who's 6 inches taller than you, 7 inches taller than you? I don't know how much she's taller than me. AZD's like 3 inches shorter than me, 2 or 3 inches. I'm going to ask him for all of his sound bites, every handle, everything he said to her, to tease her, to make light of himself, to do everything they say don't do, or that you would think don't do. Don't bring attention to it. Maybe don't even go on a date with a taller girl. Like how he handles that from front to finish. He teases her long arms. He talks about the other girlfriend that he just went on a date with right before the date with her. They were back to back. And he talks about how short her arms were and teasing her arms. And it's like, what are you thinking when you do that? Are you just, how do you know to say that? And then because you'll go over the line, bro. If you start teasing a girl for her body, good luck. You might get one or two in. You may have stumbled on one or two in your lifetime, but go ahead and tease a girl's body just lightly, how tall she is and how short you are. And don't lose value. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't say how short you are and then she loses attraction for you. I'm saying do it in a way that, man, she raises an attraction. That's the thing. He's an alchemist. Everything he's saying, whatever she gives or does, her stiffness, her looseness, her laughter, her cursing, her whatever, what she's wearing, every response to everything is calibrated. It's very thorough and very methodical. It is handling the dynamic. It's catching every energy and doing Aikido with it, throwing it, tossing it to the point where you're like a conductor. You're conducting the energy. And I saw him shapeshift from one kind of guy to the first date, goes in, hangs out with, drops her off, then we get home, goes in. The second date is there with one of his girlfriends. We'll get to that in a second. He does whatever private activity for 30 minutes in there with them. It's not sex. It's just he's cleaning up. He's preparing, freshening up for the next day. They all know he just went on a date. One is a super serious girlfriend, what do you call his wife, and the new girl that he's going to go on a date with again, with other guys in the vehicle. Both times, it was one girl, him, and the rest of us guys. We all had dates. They all flaked. Whatever. That's part of the journey. None of us were butthurt or upset about it. Shit. pay attention to other shit now. We don't have to worry about the girl. The girls will come. You know what I mean? Guys, if you're not on daily class, the main objective for you is to get on daily class with AZD. I am just a student. I am just reporting on my experience of being around him. World class, world champ, world's greatest seducer, relationship expert. So if you like what I'm talking about, recognize where you're at with women right now, how many you're talking to, how fine they really are, where is it at? Are they really wanting to be in a relationship with you? Is it sexual? Are you providing for yourself? Do you have tight friendships, tight bonds with strong guys? Really? Really? Where are you going in life? That's what this class is. It's called Game. The Game. It's $97. It's in the bio. Just go sign up. Don't forget. It's every class. Every day class, 10 a.m. Pacific. And you get the recording. It's 1 hour. One-hour class/mastermind on Zoom. And if you're not doing it, I don't know why you would be entertained by my stream. I'm telling you, that's where I learned. It's not a class with me. I'm just a student. I'm literally inspired to report on my experience. Okay. I'll just get to it. So handling a girl that's beautiful, that's taller than you. Amazing. The next thing is, man, okay, so keep in mind, he went on 2 dates back to back. 6 p.m. we meet, first girl. The first girl arrived at like 5:30. He introduces her to his 2 girlfriends, his 2 main girlfriends. He has like 7 girlfriends, or 9 now, the 2 new ones. You get it? It's out of your reality. But let's just say he has 2 main girlfriends that are like wives, and they're waiting in the room. One of them is staying with him for like a week, like overnight, because he doesn't live with the girlfriends. They all have their own residences, but one is spending the night for like a week. And she's there, and then the other main girl is there, and then who's the first girlfriend. And then the new girl who walks in, 30 minutes. He's getting ready for the date while she's interacting with them. Whoa, dude. New girl comes in and meets your 2 top girls. Shit. Then you take her in the vehicle. How do you get her to the vehicle? Your guys are in the vehicle. They've known her from the strip club. We've met. We've even had some dances, but there's no more communication. It's over and done with. But is he trying to make a hoe into a housewife? No, I think he's just that character that the hoe turns herself into a housewife for voluntarily because it's better for her. She feels better being his housewife than being a hoe to the world. Now, she's still hoeing, whatever. She's not hoeing. I don't think she's whoring herself, but just as a casual use of the term. But she's still dancing, right? You're selling your body. Shit. So it's so enlightening to see how the boundaries work and the depth of the relationship, which is deep but not deep. It's deep until you see the main relationships. That's deep. You know what I mean? The deep relationships aren't like that, but the new relationships, they're still relationships. They're still valid. And it's so enlightening to see that work because it's all built on agreements, mental agreements. Now, if you attach yourself to those, then she has a hold inside of you that if she works the agreement, it works you inside. Okay. If you guys got questions, go ahead and type them. The YouTube is kind of tripping out. It's glitching out on me, so hopefully you guys see it. Uh, okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So a bunch of interesting comments. Appreciate the comments, guys. Comments are always great. Let's see. TikTok, you guys got any comments? TikTok's pretty quiet. Okay. So. All right. So wrapping it up, how to introduce your girlfriend, your new girlfriend, your 2 main girlfriends. What the fuck? You want to hear how that happened? And he's just for 30 minutes getting ready while they're bro. How do you set the stage for that? Okay, so you got 1 girlfriend. You want to get a second girlfriend. Okay. And then that happened while he was dropping off the first girlfriend. We're coming back from the restaurant. The second girlfriend makes her way, or the second new girlfriend makes her way to the house. There's nobody at the house. The main girlfriend, he calls her. She goes up and lets her in. They interact for like 15 minutes before we get home. What the fuck? What kind of orderliness do you have to have in your relationships for that to happen? How do you set the stage for that? How do you set the frame for that? Right? Then we go out. Never mind the date. I mean, shit. What is he talking about? Man, the one girl is like a thug. Beautiful, tall, the tall girl, thug. You know, his rapping of Tupac and other things, his movement in the vehicle, hot man, jump, jump. I forget how pack it up, pack it in. Let me like, whoa, what's the last time I heard that song? And they're fucking bouncing to it, having a great time, as if we weren't even in the back vehicle. How do you take a date with other guys in the back seat? How do you take a date to dinner? What's the conduct? How do you guard? Here's one. How do you guard against the waiter when the waiter's hitting on your girl? What are some gestures you can do, some things you can say that will result in the girl registering protectiveness in a high value way and literally protects her from the guy invading her space and like, you know, any inadvertent touches, or she doesn't like that. She doesn't want that, but she's not used to standing up for herself in that way, and not definitely not used to a guy knowing how to do it. How to do it in a high value way that's casual, that keeps the value, that keeps the peace, but is badass. It's not that it keeps the peace, it's that it doesn't create a conflict, but by the threat of force, because of his look and his body language and everything, it quells whatever, you know, unrighteous, fucking lustful action the waiter is doing. You know what I mean? Without lowering your value to the woman by being needy or controlling or whatever you could trigger by trying to protect your woman from everything. You know what I mean? He is protecting her, but he's navigating the light. He's navigating the behaviors that result in brightness coming out in her without compromising himself. Right. Okay. All right. So we're wrapping it up. Let's see. Is there any last bullets? What did I have here? I mean, those are huge. The last thing I'll say, and so I'll wrap up the bullets. I'll just kind of summarize them for you, and then these are if I'll think of other things too, but these are the things I'll be asking AZD in the event tomorrow. So the event is 127 for man, I should charge this more. I don't know how much it's going to be. I think it's going to be 147, but maybe 127. There'll be some regular price. Then there'll be some alumni price. Guys that did the last event, much cheaper, maybe even half off. Then there'll be the guys that are on weekly dues here, because if you live in Vegas, you pay weekly dues. That might be the alumni price or something like that, but greatly discounted. You should pay because we paid to be there. I paid a lot to be there. But, you know, your contribution is acknowledged. Of course, you're here to learn. And so that's what that is. So these are questions I'll be asking him, getting direct answers. And these are important because I am far along in the game relative to humanity. Relative to him, I have mountains to fucking learn. But, you know, relative to guys, I am a human and they are ants. And he is some kind of demigod or something. And skill level. I mean, it is what it is because it comes out of the ether. How to talk to a girl. Where did you get the script from? What book are you reading? No, you pulled it from the imagination. Where? Okay, I have access to that too. I got to plow through this material world and this material existence to find the key point, the access point. And it's there. I've glimpsed it and I'll have more of it because it's a really pure divine power, really. And it applies to everything. It applies to family relationships. It applies to your business relationships. It applies to your father, son, daughter, mother, whatever, wife, dog, tree, yourself. Like the ability to communicate with your body, even. It is just communication. There's a tonality to it. There's an emotion behind it, an intention. There's a knowledge of cause and effect and how language influences things, everything. Man, that's what AZD is literally teaching. But his greatest manifestation of that that's so abnormal is the relationships with the highest value women or that level of woman, multiple relationships, orderliness, tribe strength. It's what it is. So that's what you get. When you learn from him, that's what you're getting. And so quickly, you know, the freedom to communicate. Man, what would I ask him about that? Well, you know, it really has a lot to do with this unspoken bullet that I said, which is they have a saying in sales, it's called commission breath, right? Where it's like the guy starts feeling the sale is happening and he starts talking in a way that you can tell he's like anxious for his commission. So he's got this commission breath. There's that kind of breath that you'd have with a girl. You're dating a hot girl, and man, it's like you think you got her in the bag, right? But you're still out on a date and it's going well, but it could swerve at any moment. Don't act like it's done until it's done. So there's a total non-neediness I see in AZD with these women, and the shapeshift. I don't know how to emphasize that more, but it's really cool to see a certain kind of character with all the familiar philosophy, and obviously he still looks like himself. I don't think he even changed his clothes. Maybe he did. It might have been a slight change. And it is an indulgence in the vibe of the relationship and what's happening right now, and milking that and playing with it. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of teasing, and there's a tonality to that too. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you deliver this teasing tonality? That's what I'll be asking him. And maybe that's what I'll ask him when I say on commission breath or freedom to communicate. How do you tease? That's very related to how do you deal with a woman that's taller than you. And I know it's going to unpack a lot of teachings from that. I've had an experience with a couple times where I was with the flow, really jamming and seeing, standing out girl and felt her energy. Yeah. Yeah, bro. I think you would love this event, but I think you need the daily class more. But you could do both. If you really want to get started with the world champ of dating, then that's what I would recommend. Sights set. Right? But you're welcome to stream with me if you have any further questions. I have 7 minutes, but I was in the process of wrapping it up, so it'd have to be like right away. We could talk later too, I'm about to go to the park, maybe on my way to the park. If you got a minute. So these bullet points. The freedom to communicate is really, how do you tease? How do you walk the girl to your car? I feel like I already know that, but I also know that there's some details that I want to hear him talk about. I noticed suddenly as she turned, yeah. You're welcome. And it's going to be very insightful for guys that haven't seen AZD do it. I've seen him do it like 50 times or whatever, and it's evolved, it changes. So I want to know more of the details, because the etiquette is not the book written etiquette. It's an etiquette of the heart. It's an etiquette of the DNA. It's the etiquette that, how like etiquette's supposed to make the other person feel good. Like, they matter, like, you're considerate, whatever. But a lot of that politeness and social graces, as I've heard him say, is low value. It's too supplicating. It's too polite. It's too conforming. It's too, you didn't decide to do that. You're doing that because someone showed or told you that that's the right thing to do, but you don't know if it's the right thing or not. You're just copying somebody. You're a copycat. So that's why I say he's edgy, because he does some things that seem like etiquette, but the way he does it and the timing, like bringing the girl to the vehicle, walking the girl from the vehicle, walking the girl into around the guys, with the guys in the center, the movement and everything, seated in the theater, slightly away, like all of these positionings with the girl. I want to hear him talk about that. And of course, the teasing. How do you deal with a girl taller than you, longer than you, younger than you? Because these girls are like probably 20 years younger than him. He's 47. Bro, I don't know how old they are. Maybe early 30s. But, that's a big age gap. For me, it's almost a big age gap, 27. I'm 37. But obviously not 17, but an 18-year-old or 21-year-old would be hella young for me. I like it, but there's definitely an age difference. So how he taps in with men, how he taps into the age, the height, the introduction of the girl to your girlfriends, how the stage is set before, how the frames are set to the new girl, to the old girl, what is said, what are some of the obstacles overcome in that? If there are any, before and after, what are some obstacles that we can expect to overcome in our process of growing to that? Because we're players. So it's going to be a matter of no time at all before we're introducing new girls to old girls, and old girls to old girls, and new girls to new girls, and dating, whatever. It's what it is, because it's all righteous. There's no lying. There's only miscommunications. As soon as you start living this path, guys, if you try to live this path, there's going to be 1,000 miscommunications. You're already miscommunicating. You're just not aware. As you go down the path, you become more aware. As you become more aware, it's because you make a lot of mistakes, and you become more aware of where you're making mistakes. And that's what it is. You face the consequences of those actions. You were facing it anyway, but now you face it a different way, because you ascend in your social status and your social ability. New levels brings new devils. As you change your behaviors, you start to really see the effects that you create. When you don't change your behavior, you're receiving the effects you've always created. So you don't even see the connection. It's just you're in the ocean as a fish, and you don't even know it's wet. But pretty soon you begin to fly, and you start to fly, and then you go back in the ocean, fly, go back to the ocean. You start to notice the difference between the air and the water. Then pretty soon you just fly, and you're just flying, and you may forget the ocean's there, and sometimes you dip into the watery emotions of normalcy. And then you fly again. Maybe go to outer space and you're ascending with the fucking heavens. You're with the gods or whatever. You're in orbit. You know what I mean? It's a good analogy because it kind of describes pretty well the ascension of the spirit and, you know, enlightenment. So I'll definitely be asking him about the body language around the waiters and the staff. Although I know he's talked about it. Maybe there's something else he could break down. And if there's not, if I've heard it all, his breakdown of it would be very valuable for everybody that hasn't heard it already. And the only guys that heard it were the guys that were there. And they're not paying for the event because they already paid to be there. So everybody else, there's a value in knowing how to date from the highest levels, whether it's $77, $150, knowing how to date is going to save you a lot of frustration. Show up, take notes, repeat, watch it multiple times, get the details of it, because the value of your frustration saved, the value of your relationships evolving years in just an hour and a half or 2.5 hours of him lecturing on it, and then you evolve so much in your ability to relate. I mean, it's really priceless. We just got to put a price on it. And then, what is this? Teaching the friend code. I just know he's going to have a lot to say on that. I don't know what to ask, but I mean, there's friend vibes. He's their friend, bro. He's seducing them, but he is not sexually needy at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't have commission breath. He doesn't think it's in the bag. There's a way of being that is related to the friend code. I know it. I want to ask him about it. And then the frames, yes. Oh, okay, so I said everything that's in my notes. So I hope you guys join. There's the daily classes if you're not on, because we're streaming on regular places. Then you sign up. $97. I don't know why you wouldn't. You just got to keep getting convinced, I guess. If I make sense to you, AZD will make 1,000% more sense. And, you know, just look through the pages and all the clips and everything. Educate yourself on who he is. You go to his private profile. You know, it's in the this profile description. And then guys that are already on the daily class, I recommend show up to the event tomorrow. Don't know what it's called. It'll be 5 to 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific time. Just DM the account if you're interested. Let's call it 2 dates, 1 night. For now, just call it the 2 dates event. And just DM me for that. And I'll post the links and distribute this everywhere. I'll probably email this stream to the newsletter. And guys, if you took the time to watch it, hope you found value in it. And just my intermediate understanding of, you know, bridging the gap between guys that aren't in Vegas, aren't going out with AZD. You know, I haven't missed a day. And I'll empty my bank account. I'll max out my credit cards. Doesn't matter how much I made, saved, invested, whatever. I've spent it all to do this because I'd rather have these skills than fucking credit. It's just, man, it's just what it is. Like, that it's worth it to me. So that's why I continue to invest and I do what I do. I'll see you guys. Os, praise the Lord. Be the best. Fuck the rest.